All right. Like I said before, the this is the first season 1 was the first time I got truly emotionally invested into a game. Um Everything else was just like I want to play to beat it. This was the first time I got well, let me rephrase that. I played through the Mass Effect games and I got emotionally invested, but not in this way. It was never a point where um I cried during it. Hell, like it goes to show um that it how good of a storytelling it is because it was a I'm streaming this for the world to see, and even with that I'm still okay with straight up crying on stream. I know I didn't say much during this, but what, like I said halfway through, what is there to say? There's no response other than visually what I was doing, which was bawling my fucking eyes out. And you know what? That article, or that headline, I didn't even read the article because I was afraid of spoilers. That headline was right. This was the ending that this game needed. And I'm both happy and sad that it's over. Because playing season 1, and I think the biggest reason why I got so emotionally attached in season 1 was Lee being such a protective person. He was essentially playing as the parent figure for Clementine, who was adorable in season 1. And then when you start season 2, you're playing as Clementine. So you're there as the player, but you're also still partially thinking Lee, or at least it was for me. So I was able to see her grow. And then you get to season 3, which, I mean, you don't, like, she's a glancing character. But you still get to see her in that and see how much she has grown. And you can be proud of that. And then you get to this, and you're playing as her again, and you're now passing that on. It's like the. It's like a grandparent in a way. You've watched the person that you're, at least in the, like I said, in this case, the person who you're treating as your child, now teaching someone how to live. And I I appreciate that. I think that's the only thing I can say is I appreciate it. This series, if I remember correctly, if we're going to get a little bit into a glance of a future blog article that I'm in the process of creating. Let's see, where's my drafts? I want to make sure that I actually do have it in here. Yeah, absolutely. It's not in any particular order yet, but I have in my list. I'm starting to write a top 10 video games for me. Um, this is on it, and this is on it for the exact reason why I'm saying it's uh it's the first time I've legitimately been this emotionally invested every time it's come out, the first season, barring because I didn't play it until later, but since that point, I was pre-ordering every time that it was on. Every time they said new season of Walking Dead, I'm like, fuck yeah, give me that. And I would play it as the episodes were coming out, starting season 2. Which I was recording those as well. I've also never replayed a game. I've replayed a couple decisions, because when you're doing that knee-jerk reaction sometimes, you don't actually take the full thing in, and you see a circle and you click it. Didn't realize there was a choice until it had ended, rolled back that, because I'm like, that's not actually who I wanted. I just didn't know I had another choice. That was in, I think, season 2, first episode. And then in season 1, I had a couple dialogue decisions that I had changed while I was playing it, because it was unclear that when I had answered it, I was not going to be able to address it. So there was one of them where I was like, we don't have time to answer this. And then I was like, no, you know what? You're right. This isn't the thing that I do want to tell you, but maybe not right now because there's more pressing matters. So I chose to not talk about it. And then it popped up you chose to not lie to her, but I'm like, well, that's not what I wanted to do, but apparently I don't get the decision to make it later, so alright, let's do that again. But I have not once replayed one of the Walking Dead games, and that's the big reason is I want to keep the memory of it and of my decisions in place. I don't want to start to get those confused with a second playthrough. And I want to experience the fact that I experienced all of the emotions with this instead of if I were to go through it again, I'd be reliving some of it, and yeah, I probably will get choked up, but it's not the same. And why? So if it's not the same, if I'm not as emotionally invested into it, why go through it again? But like I said, I'm sad to see that this is no more. However, if they were decided for whatever reason they wanted to do a season 5 and have it follow AJ, I'm not interested. And it's not even so much for how this ended, because this ended in a very final way. Walking Dead was always about Clementine for me. And obviously for Telltale and Skybound, when you have her as the main thread throughout the game. So if you decided actually to kill her off, then it is a final thing, and you'd be playing as AJ, and which I didn't like because I wanted to reject it. I understand it, but I was rejecting it because I'm like, I know what's happening and I don't want it to happen. Like, I don't want Clementine to die, so if you're gonna have me take over AJ, like, that's kind of that finale thing. So then to bring her back, which that was tears again, because I was happy to see her again. Man, I'm starting to get choked up again. Jeez. But all in all, yeah, that was, of all of the games, this was probably top 3 episodes. I think the last one with Lee tops it, and major portion of that is because of Lee. I'm sad that we didn't get another thing with Lee in this episode, but I don't know if my heart could have handled it. So I'm also happy at the same time. I realize I'm starting to blabber. So, but I guess that happens with after being involved in a emotional thing that happened. So, yeah. I'm glad Clementine's still alive. And I think we'll leave it at that. So for those of you who stuck around with my whatever this was at the end, I appreciate it. I will see you on Saturday with another stream of Mass Effect, and that's emotionally taxing too. God. Okay. At least there's action in that I can shoot stuff and use powers. Anyway, I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm going to get this started uploading so it can be up hopefully tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. I appreciate everyone who watches these. It's mighty cool. As you can see down below, didn't have much for chat, and I think a part of me actually very much likes that for this, but it's going to end up being on YouTube anyway, so yeah. I don't know how to end it. Bravo, Skybound. It's hard to end a game like this that is so popular. And it was done, I believe, in the best way possible. You had to tug at my feels for most of it, but to be in a state where those heartstrings could be pulled is a testament to storytelling. And there's not many stories that can do that. So, again, bravo. I would love to play more or to see more about Clementine, but in the end I don't actually know if I do. So, I guess at this point it's a weird goodbye to Clementine. So, I think that's also a part of the reason why I don't want to leave. Anyway.